Other sports end their season with their biggest game, the championship. In NASCAR, they've got the biggest race right at the get-go. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Garrow at Daytona with Doug Rice getting ready for the big one, the Daytona 500.
It's the great American race, and it's produced great finishes. 1976, Petty Pearson. 1979, Allison and Yarborough crash. Petty wins. 2007, Kevin Harvick just edges out Mark Martin.
A sellout crowd completely ringing this 2.5-mile speedway. The pace car speeds on the pit road. The green flag is waving in the Super Bowl of stock car racing.
Time for NASCAR to duel in the desert as we visit Phoenix International Raceway. I'm Doug Rice along with Mark Garrow, ready to bring you the call of the Subway Fresh Fit 600.
It's flat, it's 1 mile in length, and it's another track that Jimmy Johnson practically owns the keys to victory lane. But some of the other guys that have been able to break through in a big way here at this place, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon, and Mark Martin.
375 laps, 600 kilometers as we go racing in Phoenix.
Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Las Vegas, where the Sprint Cup Series is making their annual visit. I'm Mark Garrow with PRN. My co-host today, Doug Rice.
And of course, Las Vegas Motor Speedway has undergone a lot of changes. This used to be a relatively flat track, Mark. Now 24 degrees in the banking, and it's made it a much faster track.
And very fan-friendly, not only the racetrack, but the Neon Garage, where they get up close and personal with the team.
Taking a look at the history here, Hendrick and Roush Fenway, the dominant teams. They've won 10 out of the last 12 races.
Watch out for Kyle Busch, though. He drives for Joe Gibbs. The sellout crowd of 142,000 on their feet, like the jets from nearby Nellis Air Force Base. We're about to take off in the Shelby American.
Welcome to Bristol Motor Speedway, oftentimes called the Roman Coliseum of NASCAR. Hi, everybody. I'm Doug Rice, along with PRN's Mark Garrow, ready to bring you the action of the Food City 500.
This is the fastest half-mile track in NASCAR, and they made it a little more exciting by taking away some of the racing room at the exits of turns 2 and 4. They put in a safer barrier, a soft wall. Now the drivers have less room to race. That means they could be bouncing off each other more today.
500 laps, 2,000 turns make up the Food City 500. NASCAR makes its first trip to the West Coast this season as we drop in on the Auto Club Speedway, a relatively flat 2-mile D-shaped oval. I'm Doug Rice, joined by Mark Garrow.
Doug, when it comes to this racetrack, when you talk about favorites, you go no farther than Jimmy Johnson. At times, he has completely owned victory lane. But some other guys have been able to take the checkered flag, like Casey Kane, Matt Kenseth, Kyle Busch, and Elliott Sadler.
And it's a race oftentimes won by fuel economy, so watch your fuel today as we go racing at Auto Club Speedway.
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series has traveled to Martinsville, Virginia. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Garrow with Doug Rice. And, Doug, when it comes to half-mile racetracks, they don't come any tighter or tougher.
It's a tough little racetrack, Mark, and it's called the Goodies Fast Pain Relief 500 for good reason, because before this race is over, there surely will be a lot of beating and banging going on.
You're right. When the checkered flag falls here at the Martinsville Speedway, fenders and feelings are going to be hurt. About to do the two-step as the Sprint Cup Series is here at Texas Motor Speedway on a great day to go racing. I'm Mark Garrow, high atop this racetrack with Doug Rice.
This is a super fast 1.5 mile tri-oval. Only one driver has been able to visit victory lane here 3 times. That is Carl Edwards. Watch out for him today.
Some of the others that have won cowboy hats: Greg Biffle, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and Kurt Busch. The pace car heads to pit lane. The crowd's on its feet. The green flag's out for the Samsung Mobile 500.
Hi, I'm Doug Rice along with Mark Garrow here at Talladega Super Speedway in Talladega, Alabama, a 2.66 mile tri-oval. It's the Aaron's 499, 1 mile short of 500, but Mark guaranteed not to be short on action.
Absolutely, and Doug, you always have some big names that can win at this racetrack, like Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, and Tony Stewart, but there are also the underdogs that have gone to victory lane, people like Jamie McMurray, Brian Vickers, and Brad Keselowski.
Here at Talladega, the winner's always in doubt until that checkered flag falls.
It's the little speedway with a big track feel. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Garrow with Doug Rice at Richmond.
At 3/4 mile, it's technically a short track, Mark, but it is never short on action because it always produces a ton of side-by-side racing.
Seats completely ring this racetrack, and all the fans are on their feet as we get set for 400 laps here at Richmond. Hi, everybody, this is Mark Garrow with Doug Rice at the Darlington Raceway. The track, they say, is too tough to tame.
Also known as the Lady in Black. But Mark, there's absolutely nothing feminine about this old racetrack built back in 1950.
No doubt she's a tough date and is going to be passing out tonight more than one. The famous Darlington Stripes. The green flag about to wave at NASCAR's oldest superspeedway. It's a scary place to race, and they don't call it the Monster Mile for nothing. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Garrow with Doug Rice at Dover.
The challenge for all 43 drivers today to see if they can actually put the monster on a leash.
Some of the guys who've been able to do that, Jeff Burton, Martin Truex Jr., Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, and Ryan Newman. Crowd's on its feet. We're getting set to do it in Dover.
From Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's the Coca-Cola 600 here on PRN, NASCAR's longest race and toughest test of men and machine. I'm Doug Rice, along with Mark Garrow.
Doug, a lot of guys have won the Coca-Cola 500, but haven't been around at the end of 600 miles. On the other hand, we've also seen some surprise winners here at Charlotte. Guys like Casey Mears, Jamie McMurray, and David Rudiman.
The race starts in daylight. It ends in darkness. 600 miles here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Greetings from the nation's heartland, Kansas Speedway. I'm Doug Rice along with Mark Garrow, ready to bring you the action of the Price Chopper 400.
You know what, Doug? It does take brains, heart, and courage to win on this 1.5-mile racetrack, and some of the guys who've had that in the past. Ryan Newman, Mark Martin, Tony Stewart, and Jimmy Johnson.
A fast car, 4 Goodyear tires, and a pair of ruby slippers can take you to victory lane. I'm Doug Rice along with Mark Garrow, ready to bring you the action from the Pocono Raceway here in Pocono, Pennsylvania, one of NASCAR's most unique layouts.
Doug, they call it the Tricky Triangle, and with good reason. We have 3 straightaways of differing length, including a front stretch that's the longest in Sprint Cup competition. And then the corners, they're all different, including the infamous tunnel turn.
We'll know at the end of the day which one of the drivers had the trick setup to win here at the Triangle. It's the hell of a good Sour Cream Dips 400. Hi, I'm Doug Rice along with Mark Garrow here at the beautiful Michigan International Speedway, just down the road from the Motor City.
And that means it's a big race for all 4 car companies involved in Sprint Cup Series racing, and all 4 have been to victory lane lately here at Michigan.
And we'll see who's able to manufacture a win at the end of 400 miles. Welcome to Infineon Raceway, the first of 2 road course races for NASCAR's Sprint Cup Series, tucked away here in the beautiful Sonoma Valley.
Here on PRN, we'll be talking about drivers turning left and right, also going uphill and downhill. The elevation change on this road course from the top of the racetrack to the very bottom, almost 10 stories.
Used to be this track favored the road course ringers, but lately your oval track stars like Kyle Busch and Casey Kane have found some success here at Infineon Raceway. Doug Rice and Mark Garrow bringing you the action from the Big D, Daytona International Speedway. The sun's going down, the lights are coming on. It's time for action in the Coke Zero 400.
Some of the latest winners of this summer sizzler include Michael Waltrip, Greg Biffle, Jamie McMurray, Kyle Busch. Let's not forget Dale Earnhardt Jr.
It's a 400-mile race to the finish here at Daytona International Speedway. Welcome to Kentucky Speedway. It's the newest addition to the Sprint Cup schedule. I'm Doug Rice along with Mark Garrow from PRN, bringing you all the action from this 1.5-mile speedway, where today history will be written as the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series takes to the track for the very first time.
Here on PRN, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series ready to make their latest invasion of the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. I'm Mark Garrow with Doug Rice.
And Mark, this is one of NASCAR's shortest races, but this is a very demanding little racetrack, and to make your car work, you have got to get it to stick on the bottom.
Some of the latest winners on this 1-mile track: Denny Hamlin, Clint Boyer, Greg Biffle, Mark Martin, and the surprising Joey Logano. The crowd's on its feet. 43 drivers ready to drop the hammer.
From the 9th floor of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Speedway, we're set to bring you the action of the Brickyard 400 at the world's most famous race course. And Mark, this is a trophy that every driver dreams of taking home.
Absolutely. They dream of kneeling down and kissing the bricks at the end of this one, and some of the very best have already done it, like Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, and Jeff Gordon. There's also guys like Ricky Rudd and Bobby Labonte who have also found their way to victory lane.
After 400 miles, we'll find out who's first to cross the yard of bricks.
Pocono is famous as a honeymoon headquarters and the site of today's Pennsylvania 500. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Garrow with Doug Rice.
Denny Hamlin is one of the drivers, Mark, that has a long-running romance with Pocono. He's already scored 3 career victories here at this triangle.
Some of the other drivers who have fallen in love in victory lane at Pocono include Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, Casey Kane, Carl Edwards, and Tony Stewart. The pace car is speeding away from the 43-car field, and the crowd is going crazy. We're about to snake our way through the Finger Lakes region of New York. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Garrow with Doug Rice at Watkins, Glen, getting set to go road racing for the second and final time of the season.
It's an 11-turn road course that includes the infamous bus stop turn, but it's not exactly a place where you want to let the kids off for school.
Or a place you'd find a crossing guard. Now, some of the heavyweights have won here at Watkins Glen, guys like Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart, but we've seen some upsets, too, from guys like Steve Park. We're in Brooklyn. No, not the one in New York City, the one in the Irish Hills. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Garrow with Doug Rice at the Michigan International Speedway. About to get motoring in the Carfax 400.
Doesn't matter which Brooklyn, the accent is still always on winning. Guaranteed to see some great racing today here on this 2-mile D-shaped oval.
Some of the most recent winners here include Dale Earnhardt Jr., Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards, Mark Martin, and Brian Vickers. 43 strong now coming down to the green flag. The lights are on in Thunder Valley. We're getting set for the Irwin Tools night race here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm Mark Garrow of PRN with co-anchor Doug Rice.
Traditionally one of the hardest tickets in NASCAR to come up with, the night race here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and there's great reason. When these cars bottom out coming out of the turns and you see the sparks fly, nothing else like it in racing.
The most recent winners here at Bristol include Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Jeff Burton, and Matt Kenseth. The crowd's on their feet. We're going green at Bristol.
PRN set to bring you all the action here at Atlanta Motor Speedway on a gorgeous Labor Day weekend. I'm Doug Rice along with Mark Garrow.
This track super fast and super competitive. The drivers can make passes right down on the yellow line and all the way up to the top of the racetrack. About 4 racing grooves. That's why the drivers call it a racer's racetrack. So it's no wonder guys like Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart have been the victory lane.
Also, should keep an eye out for Kurt Busch and Casey Kane. Pace car dives onto pit road, and we're ready to go racing in Atlanta. It's Richmond International Raceway and one of the biggest nights of the season, Mark Garrow, because it's the final race and the cutoff to get in the chase for the Sprint Cup.
Some guys are going to make the playoff, and some drivers are going to have their hearts broke. Now, Jimmy Johnson's been the big hammer here lately, but other guys to break into victory lane: Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer, and of course, Denny Hamlin.
Lots of drivers will be chasing glory, but only a few will find it tonight here in Richmond.
Chicago is the Windy City, and here at the Chicagoland Speedway, we're about to get blown away in the LifeLock.com 400. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Garrow, sitting alongside Doug Rice.
Some of the drivers that have breezed to victory here at Chicagoland include Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, Tony Stewart, and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And you never know where the winner's going to come from at Chicagoland. Harvick started 32nd.
The Performance Racing Network excited to be back in the Granite State for the second time this year as we visit New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the running of the Sylvania 300. I'm Doug Rice, joined by Mark Garrow.
The trick, Doug, about this 1-mile racetrack, the inside lane is flat, the outside lane has a bit of banking. That way the cars can run through the corners 2x2 and side by side.
A couple of surprise winners here in the past include Robbie Gordon and Joe Nemechek. We're ready to go racing here in New England. Doug Rice along with Mark Garrow at Dover International Speedway for today's action in the AAA 400, where the drivers hope they don't require roadside assistance.
Well, they just might need it, because this place is a tough place to race. It's banked all the way around, including the straightaways. The drivers never get a break. When they go into turn number 1, they describe it as a roller coaster.
It's definitely not a joyride. 400 miles here at this concrete monster. Greetings from the nation's heartland, Kansas Speedway. I'm Doug Rice along with Mark Garrow, ready to bring you the action of the Price Chopper 400.
You know what, Doug? It does take brains, heart, and courage to win on this 1.5-mile racetrack, and some of the guys who've had that in the past: Ryan Newman, Mark Martin, Tony Stewart, and Jimmy Johnson.
A fast car, 4 Goodyear tires, and a pair of ruby slippers can take you to victory lane.
It's the only nighttime race in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Chase for the Championship. It's the NASCAR Banking 500 here on PRN at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm Mark Garrow with Doug Rice.
All these teams have a little extra incentive for wanting to win today because they're usually located within 35 miles of this racetrack. Everybody wants to win in their own backyard.
Some of the drivers who have gotten the bragging rights here at Charlotte include David Rudiman, Bobby Labonte, Casey Kane, and of course Jimmy Johnson. The green flag about to wave here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and the crowd is on its feet. It's NASCAR's biggest track, the Talladega Superspeedway. It's also its most unpredictable place to race. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Garrow with Doug Rice, high atop this beautiful racetrack. And, Doug, whatever happens today, it'll certainly be unpredictable.
It's the Amp Energy 500. You got to think the fans are amped up, and so are the drivers. By the way, Talladega features the steepest banking in NASCAR, 33 degrees, making it an uphill battle all the way.
The crowd's on its feet, the pace car's on pit road.
From the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia, Doug Rice and Mark Garrow, glad to be bringing you the action of the Tums Fast Relief 500 from Martinsville Speedway.
And if there's one thing that upsets the stomachs of the other drivers here, it's Denny Hamlin and Jimmy Johnson, and they practically own victory lane. About the only other guys to break in lately, Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart.
These races usually feature lots of caution flags and lots of on-track action. It's a battle of survival at Martinsville. PRN ready to bring you all the action from Texas Motor Speedway, a.k.a. the Great American Speedway, as we're ready to cover the 500 miles of the AAA Texas 500.
They do everything big here, the biggest crowd, the biggest facility, and some of the biggest names in NASCAR racing have been to victory lane here at Texas. Guys like Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards, Jeff Burton, and Elliott Sadler.
And now it's time to go big-time racing as we drop the green flag here at Texas Motors.
NASCAR's best are about to take a ride in the Arizona desert. It's time to cowboy up here at the Phoenix International Raceway. I'm Mark Garrow with Doug Rice.
In 2009, Mark Martin became the oldest driver ever to lasso a victory when he scored a win here in Phoenix.
It's another race in the chase. The green flag out at Phoenix.
Homestead Miami Speedway. I'm Doug Rice along with Mark Garrow, wrapping up the NASCAR Sprint Cup season, the longest and most arduous season in all of professional sports.
36 races. It all began in February, and it ends here in November on the line in the Ford 400. A last chance at a win this season, and of course, a championship hangs in the balance.
Ready to drop the green flag for the final time to start a Sprint Cup race this year.